Hello, my chicklets. Thank you for stopping by. Today, I do have a Logan angst story for you. This is Hurt Comfort, but it also has some mild horror elements, so please be careful reading this one. And if that's not something you're comfortable with, go ahead and just skip it, and you can check out any other stories on my channel. Also, I would like to remind you, if you're looking to get a commission done, whether that be a story you would like me to write for you, or a story you would like me to record, you can check out my Ko-fi in the description below. Those proceeds do go to helping me afford the art for this channel. Thank y'all very much. Let me go ahead and read to you Static Connection. Day 27 of isolation. Logan looked at the laptop he was recording on, a copy of himself staring back. His hair was a mess, and there were obvious bags under his eyes. He'd been slowly getting worse, though a thought crossed his mind, and he smiled weakly. He was beginning to look like Virgil. I may have overestimated my ability to handle a quarantine from the others. I find, without the noise that is normal when living with others, my own personal anxieties are louder inside my head. I am actually surprised by the fact that I have anxieties. I would have assumed all of that was pushed off on Virgil. I believed the silence would be a welcome change. The others were often distracting, and it was difficult to process things with their consistent slamming and chatter. However, instead of silence improving my productivity, it has amplified every other sound, many being the sounds of my own body. It is terrifying and exhausting to have to question each and every breath. I'm trying to not let it affect me. There was another sound, a noise from the computer, and Logan jumped. It was a cascading effect, rather obvious when he realized what the noise was, and then the sudden drop in his face. "It is affecting me quite a lot," he muttered. There was a self-loathing that was reflected in the camera as Logan ran his hand down his face. I had hoped returning to the subconscious would mean reintegration, and when it didn't, I had hoped that maybe I could make a home here. He paused, bloodshot eyes looking into the camera. I am finally beginning to understand the difference between a dwelling and a home. A few tears began to slide down his face. I wonder if they miss me. Not that it matters either way. Is it better to be missed? To know that you were wanted? Or is it better to be forgotten and know that you didn't hurt others? Logan was crying fully now, not even bothering to clean his tears. I am terrified of returning, but I am not certain I can continue like this. He reached forward. Maybe I just need to get past the next few days. The video cut off and the silence echoed through the common room. Patton, Virgil, and Roman had only recently realized that Logan was missing. They had assumed he was locked away in his room. They assumed he had just been avoiding all of them. None of them would have been surprised. They all had a few issues over the past few months, and it was obvious that Logan was being worn down. They wanted to give him room and space to relax. And then, of course, things got busy. After a month, Patton had decided he couldn't take it anymore. He had to make sure Logan was okay. He knocked and knocked, offered food, offered companionship, but he didn't hear anything on the other side. After a few hours, Patton forced the door open. He knew it was rude and an invasion of privacy, but he didn't have time to feel guilty. The room was empty, completely barren, and Patton suddenly wished he had been rude sooner. They spent another week in panic mode. Logan's door sat open, but they didn't know what to do. The three of them hoped he would just return and suddenly everything would be okay. But it wasn't. Logan didn't come back, and they all started to fall apart. Roman had suggested a few dramatic things like going into the subconscious. Patton was beginning to think they should have. Even if the subconscious was dangerous, that was apparently where Logan was, or at least where he had been. None of them were sure if he was still there now. They had been watching through all of Logan's logs, too sick to their stomachs to even stop to eat. Virgil was the one who found the computer. It had shown up around 2 a.m. while Virgil roamed the hallways after a nightmare. The sound of Logan's voice echoed through the empty door, and Virgil had immediately woken up the others. They hadn't left the common room since. They watched Logan's reasoning, Logan's slow descent into madness, and they all clung to each other, because it was all they could do. Day 28. Logan giggled on the screen, but it was wrong. There was something off. His movements were jerky. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and I am alone. He laughed, a deep, shattering laugh that sent shivers down all of their spines. The clock on the computer is the only thing that tells me the day, and I don't even know if that's right. Maybe it's only been a few hours. How pathetic would that be? His eyes flashed orange. His appearance changed as if he was glitching out of one existence into another. This isn't fair. I don't deserve to be treated like this. I should be cared about. He stood up, throwing his chair against the wall, leaving a dent and breaking off one of the arms. He glitched back, shoulders slumping. Sorry. That was unprofessional. I shouldn't behave in such a way. This isolation was my choice. No one else should be blamed for what is happening to me. He sighed, walking over to get the chair, setting it back up before he sat down on it slowly. I'm sorry. He apologized again. I don't know if anyone will ever see these, but I hope they don't. Only I should face the consequences of my actions. However, I can't stop recording. I think it's the only thing keeping me partially sane. There was another long pause, a look in his eyes that couldn't be explained. He bit his lip. It was like he knew something that the others didn't know. He let out a slow and deep sigh. I don't think I can keep doing this. Virgil reached out to close the laptop, his hand shaking, but Patton held him back. There should be 7 more days. Maybe it can help us find him. Maybe we can fix it. His voice was pleading, but Virgil also had a look in his eyes, something that Patton didn't understand, but Virgil was trying to protect him from. Pat, we don't know what's going to happen next. I don't think we should watch it. Virgil hesitated. I don't think you should watch it. Patton wanted to understand. He was missing something, but he didn't know what, and it terrified him. Day 29. Why do I keep trying? Logan jumped and looked outside on the screen before his shoulders slumped in defeat. The door is locked. I was going to try to leave, but the door is locked. Patton and Virgil both turned back to the screen as Roman reached out, pulling up his brother. Oh, you're calling me? That's new and interesting. His voice overlapped with Logan's. The video couldn't be stopped. It was a cacophony of noise as Roman tried to explain what was going on, his own voice shaking as he heard Patton bawling, Virgil attempting to calm him. We need to find him, Roman shouted, and Remus looked confused before he turned to look at the laptop. His brow furrowed a bit as he picked up the laptop, watching the screen. All they could hear was Logan's voice. There's no way out. I can't escape. I would rather the darkness just swallow me, rather than string me along. I can't do this anymore. I will see if there are any more entries, but I can't maintain a useless routine. Remus frowned. That's not the subconscious. Logan had said it was the subconscious, and Logan wasn't normally wrong. What? Patton and Virgil both asked, Roman standing up to look at his brother. It doesn't feel right to be the subconscious, and this laptop smells like me? But I would have known. His brow furrowed and Remus dropped the computer. Come on, dorks. Time for a field trip. We have a nerd to find and save. The video continued to play, and there was a blood-curdling scream. Remus frowned, tearing a hole into the fabric of their common room. Sooner rather than later. Logan was laying in a web, wrapped up by something that felt like silk but sticky. He felt overwhelmed and out of it, his brain fuzzy and barely able to cling to conscious thought. He had been attacked. Something had happened after that? but he's so delicious to feed on, all of that negative energy. Down, girl. Someone was talking. There was shouting and fighting, and something was happening, but Logan didn't understand what. I got you, another voice whispered, and Logan was almost certain it was Patton. He knew that soft, gentle lilt, and Logan couldn't help but laugh. It was a sad, broken laugh. You aren't here. There was a desperate edge to his voice, but he had stopped trying to hide that long ago. You aren't here. No one is coming to help me. His breath came out stuttered, even as he felt himself being cut down. I chased them all away. It's my fault. And Logan genuinely believed that. He believed it was his fault for leaving, and his fault for not being enough. He fell boneless into the imposter's arms, eyes closed as he fought not to shake and fall apart. If I hadn't been so sensitive, I wouldn't be alone. He didn't see the way Patton's heart broke, didn't see the way Remus teleported them back to the common rooms. He was too tired, mentally, physically. Everything was too much. I implore you, just let me go, he whispered, drifting off to a painful sleep as someone stroked his hair gently. Never again, Patton whispered. I'm not letting you feel alone. Ever again. Thank you all for listening. Again, that story was Static Connection. I do hope y'all enjoyed it. Please make sure to check out those links in the description for my Discord channel, my Ko-fi, and the story link. I appreciate all of you being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day.